It's time to count down the top 10 movies of 2017. At the beginning of every year, I start a list on my phone, and every time I see a movie that impacts me in one way or another, I write it down. By the end of the year, after seeing a few hundred movies, I usually have a list of about 25 great ones that I whittle down to my top 10. They may not be the most prestigious films of the year, the most important films of the year, or even the movies that will win all the Oscars, but for one reason or another, they're my top 10 favorites, and we're starting with number 10.
Something happened. I don't know exactly what. My brother's been arrested. He's being held at Rikers Island. He could get killed in there.
Sorry, we just have a client that walked in.
We're good?
You get another 10 grand, your brother will get out.
Coming in at number 10 is Good Time. This slick and sick race-against-the-clock crime drama tells the story of two brothers whose botched bank robbery lands one of them in Rikers prison. The other, on the outside, played with a furious tension by Robert Pattinson in one of the best performances of the year, spends one dark and demented night doing everything in his power to get his brother out. The film mostly takes place during that one night of breakneck desperation and pulsating violence. It's a delirious and frenetic film that will shock you, sicken you, leave you needing a shower, and then wanting to do it all over again.
They have 6 officers to cover an area the size of Rhode Island. Maybe you can help.
I only know what the tracks say.
What is it that you do again?
I hunt predators.
So why don't you come hunt one for me then?
Coming in at number 9 is Wind River. This brutal and blood-soaked crime drama set against the backdrop of an Indian reservation in Wyoming tells the story of a wild game hunter and a rookie FBI agent who team up to solve the murder of a young woman. But don't be mistaken, this is not a standard paint-by-the-numbers murder mystery. The wicked cast of characters, complex social structures, and horrifying resolution will shock you, terrify you, and leave you feeling alone in the cold as you come to terms with the powerfully haunting story you just witnessed.
America, they want someone to love, but they want someone to hate. I mean, come on. What kind of friggin' person bashes in their friend's knee? Who would do that to a friend?
Coming in at number 8, I, Tonya. What could have been a standard biopic about the fallen from grace figure skater Tonya Harding, instead is presented in such a unique way that we're left doing something we never really expected, actually feeling bad for her. Margot Robbie and Allison Janney give 2 of the year's best performances in a brutally funny and unexpectedly tragic look at fame and glory and those who are willing to pay any cost to achieve them. It's as unconventional as it is emotional and shows that one of America's most famous punching bags might not be the person you think she is.
Mildred Hayes, why did you put up these billboards?
My daughter Angela was murdered 7 months ago. It seems to me the police department is too busy torturing black folks and eating Krispy Kremes to solve actual crime.
Coming at number 7, 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. This angry, funny, and heartbreaking tale of a mother looking for answers after her daughter's murder is both a movie of the moment and a classic tale of grief and humanity. The film sports one of the best ensemble cast of the year. Frances McDormand, Sam Rockwell, Woody Harrelson all give award-worthy performances. The movie refuses to fit into any corner of a traditional movie classification. It's both funny and sad, strange and relatable, fresh and classic, all of which adds up to one of the most sharp-witted and viciously unforgettable movie-going experiences of the year.
Good to see another brother around here.
Chris was just telling me how he felt much more comfortable with my being here. Get out.
Sorry, man.
Get out! Yo!
Coming at number 6, Get Out. No movie held this year its finger to the pulse of our society quite like this little scary movie that could. This timely horror film tells the story of a black man who goes home with his girlfriend to meet her white parents, only to discover that things are not quite the way they seem to be. On the surface, the film is an expertly crafted horror flick from first-time director Jordan Peele, but dig a little deeper, and the film stands as a brilliant social satire holding up a mirror to America's boiling racial tensions. If you want to look at the film just as a horror film, that's fine. It's a truly great one. But if Get Out teaches us anything, it's that sometimes it's best to explore the horrors underneath the surface.
Do not start this war. I will finish it.
Coming in number 5, War for the Planet of the Apes, the final film in a trilogy of movies that were all far better than they were ever given credit for. War for the Planet of the Apes is ironically an awe-inspiring cinematic portrait of what it really means to be human. This film is much more than a generic effects-filled popcorn blockbuster. It's a powerful and heartbreaking testament to the power of big-budget Hollywood. The film reaches for more. It asks big questions about what it means to stand on the right side of history, and the answers aren't always easy ones or even what we want to hear. If you dismiss this film because you thought it was just another Apes movie, you're doing yourself a disservice. It is much, much more than that.
Where are we going? Dunkirk.
I'm not going back.
There's no hiding from this, son. We have a job to do.
If we go there, we'll die.
And at number 4 is Dunkirk. Director Christopher Nolan takes the traditional war movie mold and breaks it, giving us something we've never seen before. Told in 3 different timelines that move at 3 different speeds, Dunkirk feels like the final act of a war movie, with that energy sustained for the entire 2-hour running time. The direction, the acting, the editing between the stories, all top-notch from a director at the top of his game. The first viewing of the movie can be jarring if you're not prepared for the unconventional presentation, but in retrospect, it's clearly nothing short of genius and easily one of the best war films of all time.
The New York Times was barred from publishing any more classified documents dealing with the Vietnam War.
If you publish, we'll be at the Supreme Court next week.
Meaning?
Well, we could all go to prison.
Coming in at number 3 is The Post. Steven Spielberg's timely and topical film tells the true story of the Washington Post battle with the Nixon administration as they tried to decide whether or not to publish the infamous Pentagon Papers. It also happens to be Spielberg's best film since Minority Report. Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks give 2 of the best performances of their careers, and the incredible supporting cast to all turn in A-grade performances. The Post manages to be both classic filmmaking. Spielberg makes it look easy, as the best in the business tend to do, but it's also a relevant, pulse-pounding, and nail-biting drama that leaves you wondering what's going to happen, even though you already know what's going to happen. This is not just one of the best films of the year. I'd argue it's the most important film of the year.
This is what life looks like. People who love each other. A home. You should take a moment. Feel it. You still have time.
Coming in at number 2 is Logan. To simply call this a movie about Wolverine, an X-Men movie, or even just a superhero movie would be doing it a disservice. This dark, brutal, hopeless, violent, vulgar, and R-rated drama is much, much more. It's a classic Western that features a guy with claws. It's Shane if the guy was a mutant. Logan was, of course, Hugh Jackman's swan song for his iconic character, and he saved the best for last, giving the best performance of his career. Sir Patrick Stewart also gives the performance of a lifetime, turning in his Professor X character into a mad and broken old man in the final moments of his life. Logan is a powerful and heartbreaking final chapter in the story of Wolverine, not just one of the best superhero films of all time, not just one of the best modern westerns of all time. It's absolutely one of the best films of 2017.
You're a cop. I did your job once. I was good at it. I know.
And coming in at number 1, my favorite film of 2017, Blade Runner 2049. It was the film no one really asked for, a sequel to one of the most iconic science fiction films of all time, and yet it stands on its own. It's not just a sequel to an 80s sci-fi flick, it's one of the most beautiful, soulful, tragic, and poignant science fiction films in the history of cinema. It's a study of humanity told through the eyes of someone who isn't human. It's the story of love and sacrifice told in a world that is cold and rainy and commercially soulless. Like its predecessor, maybe it didn't do well at the box office, but like its predecessor, it is a film that will develop a fan base over the years and will in time come to be known as a classic. If you're looking for a mindless action flick, look elsewhere. Blade Runner 2049 isn't for you. But if you're looking for a mature and adult science fiction drama, Blade Runner 2049 shows you what the genre and movie-going in general has the power to be. And that is why it is the best film of 2017. Agree or disagree with my picks? Let me know on social media. Just search Jake Hamilton, Fox 32 Chicago on Facebook, or Jake's Takes on Twitter. Until next year, I'm Jake Hamilton, and I'll see you at the movies.